Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint and welcome back to another video, and today's video is going to be something totally different to usual. So you might already know that I've got a Tesla Model 3 and I've had it for just over a year now. So when my children asked for an electric car for Christmas, I knew the one that I needed to get, and this was the Tesla Model S. It's fast, it goes for miles, it looks awesome, and it's pretty cheap to run. It's also the first and only car on the market right now with a lithium-ion battery. I'll explain why this is important in a minute. So yeah, if you have a child or a grandchild or a brother or sister or a dog up to the age of 8, this might be the car for them. And failing that, you could just use it yourself and make use of those free EV parking spaces in town. So first impressions, it looks awesome. I mean, just by looking at it, you can tell it looks like a Model S. I mean, when I ordered it, I knew it looked pretty cool and I thought it was going to be fun, but this is just something else. The design of the front end looks identical to the real car. It's even got working headlights as well. You've got the Tesla logo, I mean that's in the usual places. You've got it on the front, you've got it on the wings on the side, you've got it on the rear of the car, and you've got the P90D logo as well. Around the back there's even a carbon fibre looking spoiler as well. The rear lights, you've got the optional number plate which I've added, so I got this plate to look like my real car as well, so my kids, they absolutely loved it. And obviously in typical Tesla fashion, if you've ever purchased a Tesla, I had to give it a once over for panel gaps, thin paint and misaligned doors, but I'm pleased to say it's in pretty good shape. Just a small mark on the windscreen, other than that nothing to worry about. But joking aside, it's not actually made by Tesla, it's made by Radio Flyer, and the overall quality and detail on this car is really impressive. And this car is really wide, it's actually big in every dimension, so I'll show you how it looks with my two children in it a little bit later for size reference, but yeah, it's a lot bigger than I expected. So I have actually tried to fit this in my Tesla Model 3, but it's too big, which is a real shame. It's not a problem for where I live, because it can just go down the country roads and the local track and around town, but it would have been awesome if I could have fit it in the boot of the car. We could have gone further afield and we could have gone to the beach and other awesome spots like that. Maybe I do need a Model Y after all. Now let me tell you, I never thought speed or the speed of one of these cars would be an important factor, but this is quick and it's a lot of fun. So on the back there's actually a small button and it's under a plastic case that I've now removed, and it's got two speed settings. You've got number 1, which is for 3 miles an hour, and you've got number 2, which is for 6 miles an hour, so kind of like a chill and sport mode in a normal Tesla. But just like my own car, chill mode was used for about 5 minutes before switching it into the faster speed, and now my children call setting 1 the slow speed and they absolutely hate it. But speed number 2, the 6 miles an hour option, it's fast. I mean, when you're following it and you're walking behind, for example, it's a lot quicker than walking speed, and so many people have commented on how quick it looks when we're out and about. But the kids absolutely love it, so it's so fast, and it seems to have no trouble as well with handling 1 or 2 of them sat in it. And driving is really easy. You've just got 2 buttons on the top, so you've got forwards and backwards, and then you've just got the accelerator pedal to obviously go. But there's no gears, obviously, and there's no clutch control, and there's also no brake pedal, so all you need to do is let off the accelerator pedal and it will slow down. Hopefully. But yeah, there's no doubt that this is one of the fastest electric cars out there for children. Okay, so let's take a closer look at this car and see what we think. So, as I mentioned before, it's got working headlights, which is a really nice feature, and they can be turned on and off just using the button on the dash. Now it's probably best not to drive this at night though, as the rear lights on this don't work unfortunately. On the side we've got foldable mirrors, they're not electric and they're not heated unfortunately, so you'll need to lean out and you'll need to fold them in yourself when driving through tight spaces. And just like with most electric cars, there's no engine in the front, and instead you've got a great storage compartment or frunk, ideal place for keeping your hats, your gloves, your drinks, your snacks when you're on your daily commute to the park. And it's even got a working horn, so as you're ripping up the tarmac at 6 miles an hour, you can at least warn the average walker in front that you're here. And if they don't hear you, I can tell you now firsthand that it will take a chunk out of your shin or your ankle if you fancy a fight with it, especially weighing over 40 pounds plus the weight of the child. So the car is rated for children aged between 3 and 8 years old, and up to about 81 pounds or 36 kilograms. So this will be used by both my 6-year-old son and my 4-year-old daughter, so well within the age and the weight range, and it's had no issues at all. In fact, although it's only got 1 seat in it, they both regularly sit in it together now, and it's had no impact at all on the speed or the range. Now, being a responsible parent, I thought it was best that I stress tested the weight limit for their own safety, of course. Now, they weren't happy about this, but I can now feel safe knowing that I can easily fit in it. So if you've had an electric car as a child, if you ever used to have one, the batteries were always terrible. You'd get about 20 to 30 minutes out of it. It was slow, it took about a day to charge up, but this car and the battery pack is stupidly impressive. So as I mentioned before, it uses a lithium-ion battery. Now this means it will last longer and it will recharge itself faster in between sessions, something that we'd all be happy with. So to give you an idea, the Tesla and the Radio Flyer websites both say it will last about 1 to 2 hours of continuous use, and that's definitely been the case. So the furthest that we've driven in this with both my children in on the second speed setting was actually 6 kilometers. Now that's huge. That was from my home, it was down the local lane, it was down the local track, around town and all the way back again. Now that was with both of them sat in it, which meant obviously the weight limit was higher than probably predicted, and it didn't struggle at all. So the range anxiety, even in this Tesla, is not an issue. Now while you're out, you can actually check the battery status as well. So you just need to open the boot lid, and if you press the small button on the battery itself, it will then actually flash up and it'll show you how many bars there are, and they go between 1 and 5. Now I've predicted that each LED is about 20 to 25 minutes of use left. Now charging this car is so clever and it gives a real Tesla experience. So if you've got children or you've already got a real Tesla, then this is a great way to do it. So it comes with a wall charger and it looks almost identical to the 3-pin plug that you do get with a Tesla. Now one end is obviously plugged into the socket and the other end, well, that's designed to either be plugged into the car itself or the battery, which I'll show you in a second, but it actually looks and acts like a normal car charger. So you pop the charging port on the side of the car and you just plug the cable in. Now it's just like the real thing. Then on the charging cable itself, it will then go from red to a flashing green, so you then know that it's charging. And then on the battery itself, you can actually see the LEDs are flashing as well. But you don't have to charge it in this way. So say you wanted to put the car away in the garage, but you wanted to charge the battery or the car in the house. Well, you just pull the battery out, and then on the bottom of the battery, there's actually a port. And this is the same size port as the cable that you've just been plugging into the side of the car. So you can obviously then charge it, say, in your kitchen, for example. Now charge time is only about 2 to 3 hours, which is incredible compared to the typical batteries, which take 12 to 14 hours usually. Plus, as the battery can be removed, it can also be replaced, so a replacement battery costs about $100. And a quick look at the unboxing, and it's absolutely huge. I did not expect the box to be as big as this, but the car is really well packaged. You've got all the paperwork, the charger, the wheels, everything's separate and it's packed really nicely. So I went with the white colour, and that was to match my own car with the darker wheel option. But there's also a choice of black, red, blue and grey, along with the silver wheels as well. And then putting it together is just a 20-minute job, starting with the steering wheel, it just attaches on and then it screws into place. And then you've got the plastic seat as well, and that's used to cover up the motor and the electrics underneath, and that just clips on top. And the last thing to do is to clip the 4 wheels on, a bit like having some aero wheels, and these just clip into place. So overall, I think this car looks absolutely awesome. It's rapid. I mean, it's quicker than any other electric car that I've seen children using. It's not cheap though, but it's not overpriced either. So I couldn't find a UK retailer, so unfortunately I needed to import it. But it all in all came to about $600. Now looking around online, you can buy really cheap cars for about $200. But for anything decent, you're looking at about $400 to $500 anyway. So for the extra premium, you're getting the brand name, you're getting the fast speed, the incredible battery, and the little features like lights and a frunk and the cool charging features. I'm not sure how many miles they've done in it so far, but if I had to take a guess, I would say about 15 to 20 miles, so 25 to 30 kilometers roughly speaking. And that's just in the first, 3 or 4 weeks that we've had it. And they always want to take it out for a spin as well and show it off. And they get so many comments when they're out as well from walkers. So generally speaking, it gets a lot of positive comments and they absolutely love it. And 2 things that I would like to have seen on it. One is a luxury really, but the first one are indicators. Like 1 extra button on the top to maybe control the hazard lights or the indicators. I mean, how cool would that have been if the kids were out and about and they were able to indicate of where they were actually going. And the other one is a softer seat or a cushion for the seat, as it is very hard and it's a very hard plastic, so my children have mentioned this while they've obviously been out using it. So there you go, that's a quick look at the children's Tesla Model S, and it has not disappointed. Hopefully I won't need to visit the service centre within the first month of owning this one. So what do you think? Is this something that you think you'd buy for yourself, for your commute into work? Or do you think it's something you might buy for your children? Well, you've just made it to the end of this video, so thank you. I know it's something totally different to my usual content. Now I have got a few tech, Tesla and gaming content already planned over the coming weeks, so please feel free to stick around and see what I've got up and coming. Now why don't you drop a Tesla Model S in the comments? I'll give you a thumbs up as I know you've made it to the end. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit that like button as it really helps me out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time.